Guys, this is NerdingOutNar with another review. So what happens when you get a judge, a hunter, and an animalistic alien, a xenomorph, all in one battlefield? Basically, this is what you're gonna get. A whole bunch of pure fuckery. First of all, with the first issue, we get a little background information on each of these characters. Now, if you're not familiar with the Predator or the Xenomorph or Judge Dredd, you can easily check out the IDW comics as well as Dark Horse to get your fill of it. They got plenty of it. Which this is a crossover, which I have to say is written really well. John Layman, you're awesome because I like the way you combine these universes of theirs all together and it fits. It fits really perfectly. I like that. However, there's some ups and downs a little bit. I like the art. The art and coloring are very, very crisp. Judge Dredd is Judge Dredd. You know, you get your classic hip hop here and there. Now, the main storyline is basically this scientist, a mad scientist, who basically create chimeras. Yes, he's creating chimeras made from half goat, half man, or half sheep, half man. I think I saw a crocodile one in there in one of the panels. And it turns out an injured predator lands in that area. I don't know why the injured predator would make a landing in a hostile area, but maybe that predator had no choice in the matter, and he tries to recover himself. Turns out these chimeras just jumped the hell out of this poor predator. Predator was already injured. He had like a wounded side. He's like struggling to get some nutrients or something. Sorry, I'm saying nutrients because my girlfriend. Nutrients. That's how you said it. Nourishment. That's what she said. And it turns out, after the death of this predator from all those chimeras, they find this ship. Now, they were ecstatic when they found the weapons. They're all like, oh, look at this weapons. What can we do with this? Oh, bring some of that stuff to the doctor. He could use it too. And it turns out they find the collection of skulls. As you know, every time when the predator finishes hunt, he collects the skull of the thing he hunted. And guess what skull? I think it was a deer chimera. He pulled out a xenomorph skull. And he says, do you think the doctor could use this in some way? The one chimera was like, yeah, he could, just a little speck of DNA, he could use it. Yeah. So it turns out this doctor uses the xenomorph skull to produce face huggers, and he starts experimenting face huggers on, I think the first subject was, actually, I think it was a wounded predator. Yeah, I think he put it on the wounded predator first. I don't think the predator died right away. I think the predator was injured, got carried, and then he used the face hugger on the predator first. If I remember correctly. I gotta recheck that. If I'm wrong, you could correct me. But then later down the line, Judge Dredd, who's chasing this robot that does text acronyms when he's yelling, he's like LOL, LOL, RO def. I'm like, what the fuck is okay, Judge Dredd's chasing a robot. Whatever. And it's not just Judge Dredd either. He has a little squadron with him. He has Judge Anderson, I think Judge Ruth. I think Judge Anderson is the woman with the psionic powers, if I remember correctly. But Dredd is basically going through all these bandits trying to capture this robot. They do eventually destroy the robot at one point. And then that's when he starts to see what's going on here. He's like, there's a lot of blood, there's a lot of carnage. And he runs into more alien gang that came onto that Earth to find out what's going on. And the first meeting of Dredd and the Predator was funny. I mean, what was it the Predator did? The Predator punched him. And the Predator... My bad, let me take this back. Dredd finds some of his men. Some of his men did get kidnapped by those damn chimeras. Like those chimera baboon and all of them. They got kidnapped. And guess what the scientists did? Face hugger. Face hugger. Face hugger. Now remember, Dredd has no experience with xenomorphs, so to him, he's saving his men from basically becoming what they turned the other two Dredds into. One became a weird splice of a xenomorph and predator, like it was a mixture of the two, and the other one I think just became like this wild xenomorph with like humanoid features. But when Dredd was saving his man who had this face hugger, one of the predators went like pew, shot the little arrow right in the chest, and all Dredd responded with, "Do you know the consequences of murdering a judge?" And he starts wailing at the predator like, "Damn, the predator's trying to do his shit, and you gonna do this to him?" Thank God Judge Anderson was with them, because thanks to her psionic power, she could communicate with the predators, and she explained to Dredd the whole situation with the xenomorph and the face huggers, and he accepted it. But the way this is going is really interesting. Once again, it's going to be a mad scientist or somebody who's going to recreate the xenomorph. It's usually that. And this time, they're not normal xenomorphs, though. In one panel, we seen that it was a whole bunch of his chimeras with the chest bursted, which, as you know, that means they were face hugged. So basically, it's not really Dredd versus Predator versus Alien, because I really didn't see Dredd fight Predator that much. I mean, they had a little scruffle, but it wasn't nothing really awesome or anything. It's basically Judge Dredd and his gang with the Predator gang versus the Xenomorph. And there's only 3 issues out right now, so you gotta pick this up. It's a really good read. I highly recommend it. And I think issue 4 comes out on February 17th, if I remember correctly. February 17th, the next issue is going to be out, and I can't wait to get my hands on that copy. I definitely can't wait. I got the digital copy, but I'm going to get the physical copy. I want it physically in my grasp. But if you like this little short condensed review, I really condense all these 3 issues down pat, because when you're reading it, like I said, Layman does it really well. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your last name wrong. Sorry. But he does really well for you to get into this universe. He gives you enough information on the judge. He gives you enough information on the xenomorph, enough information on the predator. I think they actually used the actual correct term to call the predators in here too. I can't pronounce it to save my life, so I'm sorry. I'm not going to try to pronounce it. But you'll see it when you read the comic, or I might post it in the description down below. And then y'all could basically tell me how you pronounce the way the predator is supposed to be named. But yeah, this is NerdingOutNar, and I'll see y'all in the next review. Bye! Wait, why is it not turning off? Oh, 8 minutes.